As I mentioned, the trajectory of Canada right now demographically is 20% traditional Canadians, that's European Canadians, First Nations, Métis, Inuit. That's major change that's going on. This is going to impact everyone. This mass migration is impacting all the taxation, the debt, all the services. So think about it. We want to reduce it back to make sure we put our people, all Canadians, first. We're not against any migrants, but we have to put our people first. We're not a charity to the world. We support refineries, not pipelines. There should have been major refineries in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but through these mainstream parties and their ties to the international oil industry, there isn't. It's being piped out down to Texas. They want to send it to China, unrefined, unrefinished. We're losing all Canadians on our beautiful resources. We've got to get refineries and make them work. That'll create jobs, and we'll sell finished goods. We got to do that across the country. Thank you.
And environmental racism is a big deal here in Nova Scotia, and that is a poster child for environmental racism. In fact, I introduced a bill, my own private member's bill, called an Act to Address Environmental Racism, which would take care of these types of problems if it was passed. So when it comes to immigration, I have to say that immigration and diversity makes Canada strong. In communities right across the country, new Canadians are working hard, caring for us, looking after our children, starting new businesses. And I will fight tooth and nail to keep our immigrants coming to Canada and paying money into our tax system. Thank you so much.
Scott, yeah. I'll gladly take that one. I was in Alberta about 8 weeks ago, and I'm telling you out there, their economy is down the drain compared to what it was 5 years ago, and that's because of the political decisions made by the Trudeau government. Blocking the West-East pipeline was a very wrong-headed policy. That would have brought clean Alberta bitumen to Atlantic Canada. We could have refined it here and exported it to the international market at the international price. Plus, we would have a domestic supply of oil made here in Canada. Right now, we've got Saudi Arabian oil pouring into Atlantic Canada. We need a domestic supply. It's shameful that in Parrsboro, you're burning Saudi Arabian oil in your gas tanks and in heating your homes with it. We need to support domestic industry here in Canada, and that pipeline would have done that and would have created jobs both here and there.
What do you plan to do to address the ballooning national debt?
Well, first of all, we got to say that the economy is actually booming right now. We've added in 1 million new jobs just since the Liberals took power, and we're going strong to bring on more. Our plan is to turn this economy into a green economy, and that is going to create more and more jobs. The other thing that we need to do, I think, is we need to put more money and investments into the creative economy as well as the green economy. This is going to put more money into little local communities like this one. For instance, I'm surprised we haven't had one question tonight about the arts and culture, the creative economy. I'm wearing a button that says I vote culture, because this is an unspoken hero for tourism, for money coming into small little communities. All you have to do is travel around the upper northern part of Nova Scotia and see the amazing creativity that people have. And I think that this is the way that we need to help to pay off our bills and move forward in today's economy. Thank you.
To understand the federal debt, you need to understand the Bank of Canada. Pierre Trudeau shifted public lending rate in 1974 to central banks. These central banks are part of the international banking cartel. They are printing our currency. Since 1974, they've printed it over 800%. This corresponds with the federal debt. It corresponds with inflation. Inflation has gone up like that. Wages are stagnant. We're being flooded with migrants into the country. This is reality. To deal with the debt, we want to go back to the 1934 Bank of Canada Act. the 1938 amendment on it, and additional amendments, and create a People's Bank of Canada that's in service of the people of Canada at a very low interest. We will pay off the debt through that. That's the only way we can go forward. Right now, we're a sinking ship with this debt. It's only growing, growing, growing. Go look it up at home, please get informed on this. This is probably the most important issue we're facing in the country right now. It impacts everything, taxation.
2006 and 2008, the Conservative government of Canada reduced the federal debt of this country by $40 billion. That was during a time of moderate growth like we're experiencing now. It's important that you reduce debt during times of growth, because that gives you the fiscal capacity to spend if a big recession hits. Now, we have not had a recession in Canada since 2008. We're actually overdue if you look at the history of the ebbs and tides of the fiscal markets around the world. So if we do run into a recession, because the Liberal government has spent so freely, remember they were going to have 3 deficits of $10 billion each, small ones, and we've blown through that. And in 2019, we're supposed to be a balanced budget. Hasn't happened. Because of the reckless spending, if we do hit a recession for the first time in many years, we don't have the fiscal capacity now to prime the pump and get our economy moving again. I fear for what's going to happen to our debt if the recession does hit. And we need to take some steps now to get control of the fiscal government spending, or the federal government spending right now.
I'm going to touch on a bunch of issues quickly. My conservative friend has the numbers wrong. I'll give you the facts. Please fact check them afterwards. Go home and search. Since 1968, the Conservative Party has added $459.9 billion to the federal debt. Mulroney was over $300 billion. Harper was $144 billion. The Liberals were half that, $214.9 billion since 1968. That's over $660 billion by these mainstream parties. Those are the facts. Go fact check them. So I don't believe the Conservative, what he's saying. The track record of the Conservatives since 1968, they averaged $23 billion deficit since 1968. Those are the facts. In terms of the pipelines, I don't agree with him either. Harper had a 4-year majority. He couldn't pass a single major pipeline. They were pathetic. And now they're going to do it? Come on. Harper passed UN Agenda 2030 in 2015. Go look it up. This is global world order through the UN. It's pushing the climate change, open borders, erosion of Canadian sovereignty, global citizenry. Go look it up, fact check it, get informed. This is the real issue going on. Climate change is a natural phenomenon, but IPCC UN is exaggerated. Dr. Tim Ball out of Manitoba has exposed this. He's a climatologist. And Michael Mann created the fake hockey stick graph, and this was just thrown out of Supreme Court in BC. Go look it up, get the facts. This is exaggerated existential threat to create global world order. Guess who was behind it? Maurice Strong. Go look him up. And he ended up stealing money from the UN. Then Mulroney, UN Agenda 21, and UN Agenda 2030. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I agree with my colleagues who say that the environment is the #1 issue here. We have to deal with the environment, protecting the environment, and protecting us against climate change. I've been saying it for 10 years, long time before any of the other politicians wanted to get on board, and now they are seeing what I told them would happen several years ago. So I am committed to doing everything I can, to speaking at the table and trying to get people to get on board to do the right thing. Thank you.